What is up, everyone? Welcome to a new Alex Be Talking video. Glad to be back. Been really busy with school recently. Shout out to Arsenal for winning the Premier League, my squad. This is not a soccer channel, but maybe one day I'll make it one. Let's get into things. I'm going into a recap, a little reaction to the new Bleacher Report mock draft, and that was done by Jonathon Wasserman. This is yesterday's. It came out yesterday, so I'm gonna go through it, take y'all through pick by pick. Let's get into things. First overall pick, he has the Wizards taking AJ DeBonsa. Of course, I don't see why they wouldn't here. AJ's my number one guy. He's the most consistent in college. He was elite playing against everybody. He's insane athleticism, insane archetype, just amazing at getting to the rim. I think he's underrated at getting to the rim, the way he takes these really long, big, large steps to get there and just can dunk it on you. Um, I think he can attack anyone. He's quicker than bigs. You guys already know all about AJ. He's a stud. Easily have number one. And getting into number two, he's gonna have the Jazz picking Darren Peterson. Heard a lot of buzz about maybe the Jazz trading for AJ DeBonsa. I don't think it's gonna happen unless the Wizards really, really value Darren Peterson, which I don't think they will. I think AJ is pretty widely agreed as the number one prospect in this draft. I think the Wizards will want to go safe here and pick AJ. Don't think they need to take a huge swing on Darren Peterson. I think Darren Peterson may have a higher ceiling than AJ, but he's the riskier prospect, no doubt. Utah, though, at number two, has a choice to go Darren or Boozer here. Wasserman's going to have him going Peterson. Boozer would fit Utah in terms of his dad works for the Utah Jazz, and obviously his dad played for the Utah Jazz, but at the same time, does he fit their team? Obviously, you have Walker Kessler, Jaren Jackson Jr., Larry Marketing. There's been buzz about Marketing to the Pistons. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. I don't know how they would get that done if you're the Pistons. You might have to send someone like a SAR over there, which would be pretty hefty load. I think if they were going to trade for Marketing, it would have been maybe last at the trade deadline or last offseason when Jaden Ivey and maybe Ron Holland had some more value. But now I don't see those two players with enough value to go get you Larry Marketing. So I think they will stay put here, and I think they'll draft Darren Peterson. He fits in well on the backcourt. They need help at the backcourt. Keontae George is there, but they could use another star, another shooter to put around those three bigs that I talked about earlier. I think they will absolutely go Peterson. The pro comp they have is Anthony Edwards. I like it. I don't see why not. I think he needs to be a little more explosive. He wants to be like Ant, but the way he shoots the ball, gets to the rim, I 100% see Ant here. He says he wants to be a point guard at the next level. Ant is not a point guard. None of the comps I've seen has been point guards. I've heard maybe the only comp I've heard is like a bigger Damian Lillard, which would put him at point guard, but I just don't see it. Not with the passing that he's shown in the past. All right, let's keep moving here. Cam Boozer, the Grizzlies are going to pick Cameron Boozer. Yep, I think they have a choice here between Boozer or Caleb Williams, or potentially drafting down, which I don't think they will. I think they'll stay put. They want to put a star around their kind of a lot of their young guys seem to be like role players, like good NBA role players, so like Jalen Wells, Zach Edey, even Cedric Coward. Maybe not guys that are going to be stars, but good, solid NBA players. And if you put a guy like Cam Boozer around them, he can thrive with talent around him. He is a great passer. He can shoot the three ball better than I think people realize. He shot 40% from three in college as a freshman. I think that's elite level shooting. Obviously low volume, but at the same time, I think he's going to become an even better shooter. That's why I love this Kevin Love pro comp. I've been saying that for a while now. I think Kevin Love is the pro comp for Boozer. Let's keep going here. Easy picks. Bulls will absolutely pick Caleb Wilson. Obviously, we heard they want size, length, athleticism, and physicality. Their GM came out and said that before the draft lottery even happened, and putting them at 4 to take Wilson. They'll absolutely take Wilson, no doubt about it. Tony McDyess is an interesting comp here. I think a lot of people are comparing him to guys who maybe weren't MVP level players, and I know it's just like a player comparison, but I really see him potentially being like a Kevin Garnett. And I haven't seen this much anywhere, but his ability, he's 6'10", Garnett was like 6'11", so it's not crazy different. But his ability to block shots, be springy, athletic, kind of hit that little like mid range, kind of around the basket, not like far mid range, but like kind of a close turnaround jumper, kind of like Garnett did a lot. Um, I just see so much Garnett in him, and potentially some Pascal Siakam if he can develop some more maybe off the dribble moves. All right, let's keep it going here. Oh, come on. The Clippers picking Darius Acuff. I love it. I'm a Clipper fan. Everyone should know that by now. And wow, I have not seen any mocks have us taking Acuff, or very few mocks have us taking Acuff. Almost all of them have us taking Wagler, because everyone keeps saying that Acuff and Garland cannot play with each other. Well, guess what? Acuff is 19 years old. Garland is 26 years old, right? I'm pretty sure Garland is 26. Yeah, Garland is 26 years old. Their timelines don't necessarily match up. It's like if you're the Clippers right now, I think we should be drafting for best available, not for fit. And Garland was amazing in college. I think he was potentially, after AJ, the second best player in college. He was an elite college player. I think you have to go Acuff. 44% from three, higher 3-point percentage than Steph ever averaged in college. Obviously, a little bit lower volume, but still high volume. More assists and less turnovers than Chris Paul averaged as a freshman at Wake Forest. Darius Acuff is a stud. Great measures at the combine. 6'7" wingspan. The Dame Lillard comp, I kind of see it. I prefer maybe a Kyrie Irving or a Allen Iverson comp. Someone who can get to the mid range, make really tough shots. Um, but I do enjoy that he has that Dame comp where he can get to the rim and just slam it on you, kind of like Dame Lillard at times has been able to do. So wow, Wasserman definitely trying to be different in this mock draft, which I like. A lot of mocks are very similar these days. A lot of mocks I see have the Nets picking Acuff at 6. He has Mikal Brown Jr. going at 6. I love it. I don't know if I would agree with it necessarily, but I like that he's trying to switch things up here. If I'm the Nets, I would probably pick Wagler here if he's still available. If the Clippers don't select him, um, obviously Acuff if he's still available. I think the Nets would be hoping to take Acuff, but if Mikal is here, it's possible that if Acuff goes earlier, they do have a lot of different choices. I think they could trade down potentially, maybe grab a veteran player and in exchange for like maybe the Hawks want to trade up or the Mavericks want to trade up. If the Mavericks really like a Darius Acuff, I could see the Mavs trading up and sending a guy like Najee Marshall to the. Obviously, it's just speculation, but the Nets don't have their first round pick next year, so obviously getting some more veterans in there trying to win next year is a priority for the Nets. I see if they pick Mikal Brown Jr., why not? I mean, it's definitely a risky pick, but it could happen. All right, let's keep going here to Keaton Wagler at number 7. If Wagler does drop to 7, the Kings would have this decision between him and likely Flemings. I would prefer Flemings personally for the Kings, but Wagner's not a bad pick. You add shooting next to Keegan Murray. Obviously, Keegan Murray is a great shooter, and you're gonna have a great shooting backcourt potentially, like a new Splash Bros kind of duo there. Very possibly 6'6". He's got that length. They're comparing him to Jamal Murray. I don't know if I see it completely. I don't know if he's necessarily the pick and roll player that Jamal Murray is, although he did show flashes of that in college. I could see him more as just like a guy who's more of a spot up shooter in the NBA. Um, I just don't know if his playmaking will translate as well as people think it will. But I still think he'll be a good player in the NBA, no doubt. All right, let's keep moving here. And the Hawks are going to pick Ade Mara at number 8. Really interesting from Wasserman here. This is much higher than most mocks have Mara going. I could see it if they really don't like what they have at the 5 position, but I could also see them going to maybe get a center in the offseason in a trade, or they could draft a center in their next pick, which I think is more likely actually that they draft a center with their next pick. I think they're picking at, I believe it's 14, I want to say. No. Okay, so they don't pick for a while actually. Um, at 23. Okay, they pick at 23. I see them drafting a center at 23 maybe, and instead here going for a point guard like Kingston Flemings, like LeBaron Philon, like and Mikal Brown Jr. if he's still available. Any of the one of those guards still available. I think they need to put a point guard in that roster. I don't think Destin Daniels is your one of the future. At number 9, If Flemings is here for the Mavs, they'll absolutely take Flemings, no doubt about it. If he's not here, they'll probably go Braden Burries, adding shooting next to Cooper Flag. But Flemings would be an amazing addition next to Flag. He can shoot, he can space the floor, he can play make, he can do everything that you want a point guard to do. He can defend. The Mavs obviously highly value defending, but so can Burries. So I think they would probably take Fleming if he's available, but they would not be upset taking Burries, the Darren Fox comp. I really like that one. Let's keep going here. The Bucks taking Kareem Lopez, another pick that I really love. Um, I'm high on Kareem Lopez, higher than most people are. Obviously, Wasserman is high on him here as well. I see a lot of the Bucks mocks taking LeBaron Philon, who I think Wasserman has been dropping a lot here, which I'll be interested to read about that. But I could definitely see them taking Lopez here. Would be a high upside pick like they did with Giannis back in the day. So why not? I can see Lopez being a star at the NBA level. And his Franz Wagner comp, I've been comparing him to Paolo a lot, but I don't hate the Franz in terms of he might be a little better of a playmaker than Paolo was coming in. All right, next let's go to the Warriors. Let's go to Braden Burries. Wow, this would be insane if Burries fell here. I don't think he'll fall to 11, but if he does, they'll be happy to pick him here. If not, I can see the Warriors going after a multitude of players they can go after. An Ademara if he drops, a Kareem Lopez if he drops. I could see them drafting um, potentially a LeBaron Philon if they're trying to look ahead, not drafting for fit. But I think if Burries is here, they'll absolutely go Burries. He fits them amazing. He develops for the future, but also can help now, shooting alongside Steph, similar to a Klay Thompson role. And I think he would be great for now and for the future for the Warriors. So absolutely, they would go Burries. And interesting pick here. Wasserman going with Steinbeck. I disagree. I don't think the Thunder would want Hans Steinbeck here. I think they have pretty good depth at the center position. Obviously, he made this after Hartenstein played 12 minutes in the playoff game versus the Spurs versus Game One. So maybe the Thunder aren't big on Steinbeck, but I mean aren't big on Hartenstein, and they would want to go for a 5 here. But I don't think they would. I think they would end up taking Yaxel Lendenberg instead. Of course, Lendenberg's going to be a guy that they can plug in anywhere. They can maybe move off of Cason Wallace or a Lou Dort in the offseason, or potentially trading AJ Mitchell. Anything to kind of add future draft capital or maybe another young guy. And in doing so, they would be able to plug in Lendenberg anywhere that those guys leave. So Yax is a guy that can play anywhere on the floor. I think he can shoot the 3 ball. He's big, he's athletic, he's physical. I think the Thunder would absolutely pick Lendenberg. I do not think they would pick Steinbeck here. Let's keep going here. Heat picking Yax Lendenberg. Yeah, if Yax Lendenberg's here, it's interesting. If the Heat want to believe that they can win with Bam, they'd probably go Lendenberg here. But at the same time, I think they'll likely move on from Hero. They'll likely maybe enter a rebuild stage. And I think they would select maybe a Philon here, maybe a Cam Carr. I like the Heat picking Cam Carr here. Obviously, anyone who drops here, I don't think they would pick a 5 because I think they like Ware. But anyone who drops out of these top 12, the Heat would pick, I think. Kareem Lopez, I think the Heat would love Kareem Lopez. If Kareem Lopez drops to 13, I think in my mock, I would probably have Lopez going to the Heat if he doesn't go to the Warriors. Let's keep going here. The Hornets selecting Cameron Carr. I don't like it. I don't think they would. I think the Hornets should look to trade this pick. Actually, I think a lot of NBA teams would value this pick, and I think the Hornets should go out and get a veteran player. I think they would love a Lendenberg here. I think they could trade down and potentially grab like a Bennett Sturts, someone who's older, someone who can help them immediately. The Bulls taking Jaden Quaintance. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, just the Bulls, they need to draft best available here, and if they really like Quaintance, they really like Quaintance. So I think they would go him here. Um, Interesting. The Grizzlies taking Philon. Yep, I love this pick here. They putting Philon next to Boozer, next to Ty Jerome in that backcourt is really nice. He doesn't really have a point guard right now who's gonna help them in the future necessarily. So I think Philon's a great pick for the Grizzlies here. Thunder going after Morez Johnson. Yep, definitely could see that happening. Why not? Morez Johnson's a guy that can help you right now. He's athletic. He's physical. I think he could be a potential replacement for Jalen Williams if he chooses to go elsewhere eventually. Yeah, I love Morez Johnson. Why not? And he has Nate Unman dropping all the way to 18. Yep. absolutely could see this happening. The Hornets, I don't think they would go Nate on Ment here. I think the Hornets will package their 14th and 18th picks for a trade. Obviously, this mock draft doesn't include trades, but I think the Hornets will move off these two picks. All right, and I'm going to end the video here, but I want to say Christian Anderson Jr., shout out him. I think he'll be a great NBA player, and I think the Raptors would love to have Christian Anderson. Just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Let me know about what you think about these picks. I'm just going to scroll through here so you can check these out as I say goodbye. But yeah, just let me know what y'all think of your team's picks and what Wasserman had to say. Let me know if you disagree or agree in the comments. Let me know who your team should pick in the mock draft. Thank you so much, and I hope y'all have an awesome day.